Wake up. You wake us up. Wake each other up. The conversation I had, and a young man said to me, because I said that we're killing each other, he said, Eric, he said, what's like, in other words, like, what's my voice? How am I going to tell those that's doing that to stop doing it? I'm nobody, but you are somebody. And believe it or not, that little bit of don't do that, it's gonna help.
Mistakes I've made and like the people I've hurt on my journey, because in order to show love, I gotta learn how to love myself.
Raise your hands. How many of you are gonna be on the panel? Okay, come, step down. Okay. Kyrie, no, we're gonna take.
How many we gonna do for the first round?
Amelia Beckford. Journey. Okay. Quincy.
And who is this person?
Mark McPhee.
Oh, you more than just Mark McPhee. We'll talk to you later when you get that food out your mouth.
Creative, she's a performing artist, she's a writer, she's a creative at heart and in life. And she's got some words and just kind of set us off right. Is that okay with everybody? Yeah. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Agreed. Thank you. So let's include the idea that a child is in the category of unlikely to defend themselves, and throw in a quote I'm pretty sure almost all of you guys have heard before. What happens in this house? What? Stays in this house. Okay. Look. So you have heard it. Now, by a show of hands, with that being considered, how many of you would say you've been bullied before? I might even raise my hand a little higher. So
Adults too.
Adults.
Yeah, you can raise your hand.
they know that.
Shy, you're shy.
So I think that that's a really good prerequisite for what it is that we're about to do today, and I'm going to segue into introducing myself a little bit. Bullying is something that we have all experienced at one time or another, and is one of the easiest ways to to get to the vicious cycle of hurt people hurt people. I grew up hearing that quote as well as the one we heard previously, what happens in this house stays in this house. And when I think about why this has a commonality and duality in many, if not all of the homes I have encountered witnessing social work firsthand, is that it brings about the fact that there's a whole picture and we're only looking at pieces of it. So, a little bit more. I grew up with 5 sisters, and because we had a large blended family, we were always with the cousins and uncles and friends at auntie's house because it was all our hot spot. So we often walked across the Bronx Bridge to visit, and having such a big family and being an observant middle child, I noticed personality differences and why sometimes the adults have favorites. I saw the bullies in the family, elders and youth alike, and gained an idea of who to watch. And when I really looked at them, I kind of noticed something that I noticed in myself, because I looked at them as though they were me. I noticed that they were sad, that they were frustrated, and usually that they were the one who didn't want to go home. So, I got lost in words. Gratitude. Yeah, usually the ones that didn't want to go home. And any adult that happened to notice, they didn't say anything, unless of course there was an outburst that they didn't begin themselves and involve their child. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, shout out to anyone that resonates with. But I say all of that not to downplay my upbringing or anything in that way, for everything that I've experienced, as life happens for us, not to us, as hard as it may be to think about it like that. I bring that up to pull up another ancient quote that we may all know, which is, as above, so below, as within, so without. We are given senses to experience all of the pain, heartache, shame, resilience, and endurance there is. In fact, these feelings and emotions are chemical reactions to stimuli that is external. That being said, that means it feels the same, no matter how big or how small the pain might be or look. The difference is in how we process it. So we are also giving the power of transmutation, where we turn that feeling into a creation, as we are all powerful creators, and we co-create this experience with one another. It is up to the individual to choose how they allow themselves to express what it is that they want to create. And give thanks and remember all of the beautiful moments and all of the not so beautiful moments that you have on your shoulders, so that you may let it go. So we don't have to hold on to pain, nor do we have to hold on to suffering.
That's right.
Let go of the biases that don't serve freedom.
Because,
allowing yourself to be free mentally will also allow you to allow others to be free, especially if it doesn't affect you.
Yes.
Creating space so that you can create beauty, and let go enough to have unwavering faith in the mission that you are here to do. My love language is reminding you of your power. And that's what I do in everything that I do, including sound healing, speech, the writing. So I shall close this with a reminder that there is pain in each and every one of our experiences brought to the symphony called life. And it is here to be acknowledged and transmuted, let go, in order to uplift and empower. Remember the music within each and every single one of you, the vibration that you feel when you overcome, when you triumph, when you do that thing you said you were going to do. Hold on to it and harmonize it with those around you. After all, this is just a verse in the song of you. And offer some, I'm also going to offer some resources.
Encourage all start to do it together. There's a new term. Legally, you're acting in concert. So one person said it, but you laughed, which encouraged it. So now you're all collectively in court before me. And then what happens next is, if the adults on this side don't intervene, I'm not just seeing you, but I'm seeing the adults too. Because the question becomes, where were you, adults, when they were doing what they thought was just bullying is now a crime? Okay? So this panel, and hearing from you all to know about how young people think, it's important for us adults to know that. So when you do appear, or were you kind of playing on your phone at the time, now we're looking to see, we're going to hold you responsible. Who knows what the age is for you to be considered an adult under New York law? Yes?
Isn't it either 18 or 16?
18 or 16? What's the age, you think? The legal age of consent, you say, is 17. Consent for what? If he said it depends on for the signature for parents, who all else thinks the yes? What's the age?
I thought the legal age for consent was 12.
She said the legal age for consent is 12. Legal age for what? 14. For what? Do you know what? For what I said, which is what?
To be tried as an adult.
To be tried as an adult, you say is 14. What's the age?
I thought it was 15 to be tried as.
It's 15 to be tried as an adult. Any others have any ideas about that? New York, the age for considered an adult for criminal law was 16. It was recently raised by way of law called Raise the Age to 18. But it still depends on what it is you're charged with, that we can still treat you young people to take advantage of it. I see some seasoned learners who also want to take advantage of those opportunities. They are available to you. Yes?
Before I leave, what court are you in? Family court?
I sit as an acting justice of the New York State Supreme Court. So I sit in New York County as your acting justice of the Supreme Court. I'm on 87th Street. Yes. On the second floor is where my courtroom is. 87th Street, next to 107th Street. Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
87th Street. 87. Building is 87, right? 87.
Okay.
My courtroom in particular is open. So if you all want to come to the court and sit in the courtroom on the bench with me, that opportunity is available to you. I have cases. Also, I heard for adults too. My courtroom is open in that if there are cases that I do remotely and in person, the court is open. You do not need to identify yourselves. Yes, there's certain rules, privacy, circumstances, but the court is open. We have interns this year that are paid internships. I believe the deadline is coming up soon, so I encourage you all to apply. That's all positions in the court. You can either be assigned to chambers with a judge, court officers, court attorneys, stenographers called court reporters, court clerks. There are lots of opportunities.
So the next question is,
One thing that I could say about having empathy, especially in the modern day of people for our age, and is the most dangerous thing to be in this day and age, especially with technology, cyberbullying, is to be a good person. I see in my eyes to be a good person, to wanting to show empathy out to people. I was in a lot of pain in my past, and because of that, I wanted to give myself out to other people so they can rely on me to be like, hey, this is a source of love that you can go to. But empathy is a two-way sword. It could show healing, or it could bring more pain back to yourself. I tried to be that guy in high school to be like, listen, you're sad, but I like you, you know, you can tell me all your problems, all this stuff. But then I realized I'm hurting my own self, because instead of showing empathy to my own self first, to learn proper empathy, to forgive myself for the sins and the bad things I did in my past, and my flaws and my mistakes, how can I show you outward empathy? It's still possible to be empathetic to somebody while you're still learning to love yourself, but I couldn't show proper empathy without understanding that I needed to forgive myself first, and then seeing that even forgiving myself.
I, funny enough, had many experiences with being too empathetic or too caring towards people that might have been going through something, and ended up leading myself down a path where I ended up being put in the position to be bullied. I do feel like people showing that they care more about something, even if they can't have the empathy, they should at least have the sympathy to say, hey, I see that you're going something and I can't relate to it, but I still want to help in some way. Even if you can't put your shoes in the same person's feet, it's still like a person thing.